Hi there, it's Jenna from scribblinggrace.com. So I was flipping through my Bible here that I've had for quite a while, and I remembered that I used to do a lot of pages like this with different hand lettering styles. And I haven't done a page like this in a very long time, and so I thought today that I would go ahead and show you how I'm going to go ahead and do a all hand lettered Bible journaling page. So I'm going to be working today on Psalm 53 through 55. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the scripture, pick out parts that are really speaking to me, and then I'm going to letter them on my page here. To help me out, I'm going to use my 10 easy lettering styles worksheet, or a little cheat sheet that I have. This is from an old post that I did 2 years ago, and I will put the link where you can find this in the description below, and also in the blog post that goes along with this video at scribblinggrace.com/hand lettering Bible journaling. So it's kind of a long one, but again, I'll put it all in the description below so you can easily find all the links. I'll also put the links to the supplies that I'm using. This Bible is the Interleaf Bible, so it does have the full blank page, but you could definitely do something similar to this with just a normal 2-inch margin Bible, or even just in a journal. This is a great thing to do in a journal or a sketchbook. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm starting by just reading my Bible. Again, I'm reading Psalm 53 through 55, and there's more of 55 on the back side of that page, so I read that as well. And then I'm just taking the parts of those verses, or those chapters that were really speaking to me, and writing those down in my Bible. And I'm using a pencil, and then I'm looking at that Easy Hand Lettering Styles worksheet and trying to kind of place different types of lettering styles. So I have some cursive, I'm going to do some calligraphy in some parts, I'm going to do serif and sans serif, and I'm trying to somewhat mark that out. But of course, once I add the ink, the pen, it's going to change a little bit, but I want to make sure that I have my spelling right for the most part. I did make a couple mistakes, which you may see, but this is not about making the perfect page. It's really just about getting in the Word and studying the Word. So though I am just taking the verses that are speaking to me and writing those down, there's so many other ways you can go about this. So you could really do this as a Bible study, doing kind of definitions of different verses, or you can write out what you're feeling or thinking about different verses. You can also do this as a sermon notes type of thing. So if you went to church and your pastor brought up certain verses or certain scripture, you could definitely write some of those things that you learned in your sermon down. There's lots of different things you can do. The key is really just to get in the Word, spend time with God, and hopefully learn a little bit something about the Word, dig deeper into it. So now I wrote it all out in the pencil. I do also want to note that I did not prep my page with anything. So if you do want to prep your page, I'll tell you that I didn't have any bleed through, but you do see ghosting, which is that shadow on the back side of the page. Something I don't mind, but if you do mind, you may want to prep your page. But the thing to note about prepping the page with gesso is that pencil is really hard to erase off of it. So that's just something to keep in mind. So if you're going to do this, you either want to have really, really light pencil markings, or possibly even just go straight on with the pen. So now I am taking my Tombow Food No Suke brush pen, and I'm just going over those pencil marks, creating different lettering styles. So my God is My Helper is just a simple sans serif style of lettering. Again, you can learn more about these different lettering styles in the 10 Easy Hand Lettering Styles blog posts that I have. And again, I'll put that link in the description below, and in the blog post goes along with this video. And that link will be in the description below as well. And so you can find out more about those different styles, but I did a simple sans serif, which is basically just kind of capital letters, but when I went downward, when my letters were going down, I applied pressure to my brush pen, which created a nice thick downstroke. So now I'm doing my calligraphy, which I also have taught a bunch of. So I'm not going to go deep into depth here, but I am doing this a little bit faster than real time as well here in this video. So I am going a little bit slower than it seems. But I'm just trying to vary up the different styles using that hand lettering worksheet there. So the top one is a sans serif, then I did calligraphy, then I'm just doing a normal basic script, and to do the Lord will save me, I just use the very tip of my brush pen. Same with this, what I'm writing right now. I'm just using the tip of that brush pen to give a nice thin line. And then if I want thicker lines, you just apply more pressure to the brush pen, you get those thicker letters. So brush pens are a lot of fun, but in order to do something like this, you don't need to have a brush pen like what I'm using. You could definitely do some kind of faux calligraphy type of style. And that's basically where you just use like a normal pen. I do love Micron pens for Bible journaling. Those are just a simple, basic pen. They do dry out fairly quickly, but they're really great for Bible journaling because they are waterproof and they don't bleed through as well. Just like the Tombow doesn't bleed through either. Shouldn't. I personally haven't had any bleed through, but if you try it out and it bleeds, don't blame me. But again, this is also a journaling Bible, so it does have slightly thicker pages than a normal Bible, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But back to my faux calligraphy. I'm getting a little sidetracked here. You could definitely use a Micron pen and then manually go through and thicken up parts of the lettering. So you can get a calligraphy style without having to do brush calligraphy. I teach more about faux calligraphy. I have a post on faux calligraphy that could help you with that. Again, it'll all be in the blog post and in the description below. So head on over there for more info on lettering. So I'm just really having fun with this one. It's not perfect. You can see some of my letters, like with my "Oh God, hear my prayer." Some parts are a little bit smaller than others, so it's not perfectly even. I also will tell you that I wrote out "But I called to God" twice in this. Didn't realize that till after I wrote it out, but that's okay. Again, it's not about doing anything perfect. It's just about spending time in the Word and learning and growing. So I'm just going to continue writing out, following my pencil marks, just trying to vary up the different lettering styles. This one I started out doing a sans serif, which is just like a basic lettering, again, a basic all caps. But then I decided to make it a serif style by adding a little line to the ends of my letters. So you'll see me do this in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit more. I don't want to keep you for all that much longer. But I think it can be helpful to watch someone letter in different styles. And I also want to note that though even sometimes like for the "Oh God, save me by your name," I wrote that out as a simple cursive at first, but then I decided to go back over it and thicken up those downstrokes and make it a little bit different. So it doesn't have to be perfect the first go around. You can always kind of change it up a little bit. Yeah, so now that I'm pretty much finished with my lettering, I'm going to go ahead and add some embellishments. So I do have some spots that have little gaps in between my lettering. I tried to fill up the page as best I could, but it's kind of hard to fill it up completely and make it still look good. So I'm going to fill up some of those gaps just by adding some embellishments. So I'm going to do some bubbles over some of the verses that I wrote out, and then I'll do some dots and some crosses and some lines just to fill up those blank spaces. And there's so much you can do. Again, this is just one example. There's so much you can see online by searching lettering styles and hand lettering. There's so many different examples. And this is just the very tip of the iceberg, you know. So I would encourage you to have fun with it, do your own thing. And also don't feel like you need to be a great hand letterer to do something like this. It definitely is something that takes practice. So if you have never lettered before, just try it out anyways. You don't have to do anything super fancy either. Just notes in the side of your margins is a really wonderful, beautiful way of doing Bible journaling as well. So if you don't feel like you're artistic, that's totally okay. Just give it a shot and just remember that you're spending time in the Word, and it's all just about getting in that Word and studying the Bible and growing our knowledge of it. So that's about it for my page. I'm going to go ahead and show you the backside. Again, there is ghosting from the pen, which is that shadow, but there's no actual bleed through. So if I were to do something on this backside of the page, once I painted on it or I did my lettering on the other side, you're not really going to notice that ghosting. So unfortunately, ghosting from pretty much any pen is inevitable with Bible journaling. You can't ever really get rid of that shadow, but we can avoid bleed through. So I did not have any bleed through with the Tambo Funosuke and my interleaved journaling Bible. So again, be sure to head on over to the blog post that goes along with this video at scribblinggrace.com/hand lettering Bible journaling, and that'll be in the description below. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.